I think that we feel the sea is romantic because it's in our genes, it's in our psychology. We use all these expressions like, we don't know what's over the horizon. These are things that have passed down to us, the psychology that's passed down to us innately. When you leave land, and it must have been extraordinary when the first people did this, they decided that instead of hugging the shore, they would sail directly out away from land, and at some point they would have looked back and realized that there's no land in sight. And being in that position is one which means that there's endless possibilities. The first way of getting around on the water would have been on a floating log. People would have carved implements to be able to propel themselves through the water, and eventually they got to the ability to dig out logs and create dugout canoes like this one. So it's generally accepted that the first sailing ships appeared around between 3,000 and 4,000 BC. There's some argument whether that was Mesopotamia or Egypt, but it's generally accepted that it was in Egypt. The sail really didn't change much over the next few hundred years, and sailing was the way to get goods around for up until the 19th century. Canada grew really accidentally because it was the early explorers like Vancouver, like Cook, who didn't see any use for beaver furs until they then transported them to China, where they had huge value. So the fur trade really sparked the influx of business people who arrived on the coast to trade with the natives. Sailing ships really were the great machines of the day for hundreds and hundreds of years, until perhaps the 19th century, when ships started to be built out of steel and steam propulsion became the more prominent way to get around. Sailing, being on the water, the use of shipping has defined human history. Without the ability to travel from one place to another on the water, we would not have developed any kind of culture or interculture.